Good to catch up on the Colour of Country Life with Ann Webster, the member for Mallee. How are you going, Ann?
I'm good, thanks, Ricky. How are you?
Good. Look, it's always a torrid election campaign, but you're up against the Melbourne Cup field of candidates. I think there's 9. And how is the campaign going at this stage?
Look, we had another candidates forum last night in Mildura. Tomorrow night is Swan Hill, and I think next week is Horsham, and that will tidy up the candidates forums. It's always good to hear what other candidates are proposing and to have an opportunity to talk about what we have achieved since being in government for the last 3 years, the weirdest 3 years on the planet, nonetheless, the last 3 years, and to look at the future and look at the vision going forward.
Yeah, the last 3 years have been when you've represented Mallee, but the coalition's been in government for a little while longer than that. What are the main things you're talking about in terms of what you've achieved in those 3 years of your first term?
Look, the 3 years that I've been, I have had a real focus on healthcare, on workforce, childcare. There's been so much advocacy. Obviously, COVID has created many challenges for regional communities in particular. And so out of that, however, there have been some wins for regional healthcare. Telehealth being permanent now is a big win. MRI machines going to regional and rural communities because some of the criteria that had previously been put on the ability to utilise that technology has been removed. That's actually a really good thing. So, look, there are numerous. The workforce issues, obviously the ag visa is a huge win that the Nats fought very hard for, and as a result of the UK free trade agreement, because of the loss of working holiday makers coming into the country, about 80,000, that would be not destined for regional communities for seasonal workforce. And so that needed to be filled, and we got an agreement with Liberal Party, who were against the ag visa to start with. Having Vietnam signed up, but of course that's all at risk now with Labor.
Now, I want to come back to the ag visa a bit later, but there's a couple of pledges you've made, one in unison with the Deputy PM Barnaby Joyce in the last week or so. These are promises you're making in the electorate of Mallee if you get another term.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So $13.5 million I announced last week. Fought very hard for that, for the Mildura Track and Trails. Mildura is a tourist destination without question, and to have that funding committed to the Mildura region from Redcliffe to Moorbeen for people to be able to ride bikes, walk, hike, do those things and enjoy the beauty of the river is a big win and incredibly important. So that was one. $845,000 for the Murtoa childcare centre is also something that has been a fighting for issue for me for the last couple of years. So as soon as I heard about that and the fact that they didn't have childcare, the mums, if they wanted childcare, would have to drive to Horsham and back. And, the time, the fuel, the energy to take your child to childcare so that you can work it's not a fair playing field. So, we've got, even last week, I went down to Murtoa to meet again with the mums and dads down there. We've got ICU nurses, we've got educational teachers, and support people who are not able to go to work because they don't have childcare. So this is a big deal, and we've partnered with Yarriambiack Shire to ensure that a childcare centre can be built in a timely way. That's obviously on the basis that the coalition gets back into government.
Yes, we've seen in other parts of regional Australia, Labor has done a Me Too, for instance, on one across the border on that one, but not yet any pledge from, say, the Labor Party on that one. We're trying to get word from their candidate, can't even get them at the moment.
No, I believe Carol Hart is crook, but Labor need to front up and at least appear to have a focus on regional communities.
Now, when you talk about that and labour and regional communities, the Workers' Union, the Australian Workers' Union, one of the major unions in Australia, they've been mounting this campaign not only against the ag visa, but also saying they're going to target those horticulture employers that were complaining about the new award conditions, saying they'll be trying to get their workers to basically dob them in.
Look, I find the modus operandi of the AWU and Daniel Walton regarding the ag visa and regarding this base wage which Fair Work has approved really quite appalling. And the argument that growers now with this new model of wages will not be able to make a dime is absolutely true. I hear it across the board, and it's not because they're dishonest. It's because piece rate for horticultural industries in particular has the right people doing the job who work fast, who achieve a lot and can make incredibly good wages. Now with a base wage, there is a great risk, and in fact I do hear stories already that people can work at snail's pace, still get a basic wage, and while the argument is if they work fast they can still get some piece rate. That's true, but certainly not the rate they were earning.
Now, I'm looking on the ag visa front, excuse the analogy here, I know it's largely for the benefit of horticulture, but it seems to me that Nationals and the Liberals have worked almost like on the genetics of a calf to breed this ag visa, get it out, and it's wobbling on its legs out there, and Labor already want to carve it up.
Look, they've been wanting to carve it up from the get-go, and once again, do not understand horticultural industries, do not understand the agricultural sector, and have no line of sight on regional communities. It's really concerning.
Well, then on that ag visa, where does this leave Vietnam? Labor's policy, they announced, it sort of was hidden in the middle of a Pacific policy announcement sort of about the Solomons and other things. It does seem that they'll leave the Vietnam out in the cold in terms of coming in with workers, and they can only come in from the Pacific Islands.
It is truly insulting to national relations with Vietnam that the Labor Party have not come out and said they will maintain the Vietnamese agreement or MOU at this stage, and furthermore it puts in jeopardy any other agreement that might be made with other countries. So they have not done Australia proud on this at all, and certainly not done the agricultural sector proud.
There's, what do we got, probably a few weeks, 3 weeks or less until the federal election. Plenty more to be teased out about exactly policy positions, where the candidates stand in the seat of Mallee. We'll be catching up with most of them, and it's great to catch up with you again for the seat of Mallee.
Thank you so much, Ricky.